Now we're going from flying in the friendly skies to studying them. Yes, earlier we talked about Mercury in retrograde, and our next guest is going to explain what that's all about. Stephanie Gailing is the author of Astrological Self-Care, and she's got some great insight on how the stars can help us.
So a lot of people look to astrology for insights on their relationships, for knowing themselves better, for career direction. But knowing yourself as you can through astrology gives you insights so that you could take better care of yourselves, right? Like what might stress in Aries is going to be quite different than what might cause stress or sort of inspire like disquietude for a Taurus. So the more you know about yourself, the more that you can then curate a self-care program that uplifts your well-being.
I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to go from, like you said, relationship advice, then why not extend it beyond? How did you come into writing this book? Have you studied astrology for a long time?
I sort of carried two hats for a while. One was as an astrologer and the other one was as a nutritionist and wellness consultant. And years ago, I realized that there was a natural marriage between them when I discovered an ancient astrological art called medical astrology, excuse me. But then at that point, everybody was really focused on wellness and self-care. And I realized that it could be used so that we could actually have further insights on how to take better care of ourselves and really feel more optimal well-being.
Can you give us some examples of maybe strategies for self-care per sign? I mean, I don't know, I'm a Virgo or any other sign.
Okay, sure. Let's talk about Virgo then.
Okay.
So Virgos, as you know, right, are very detail-oriented and they want things to be very precise, which is an incredible gift, an incredible skill. So knowing that that penchant for perfectionism could lead to excess worry or stress is something that they need to take care of. Also, each sign rules different parts of the body, which is oftentimes where the stress will arise. So Virgos rule the digestive system. So what say?
I mean, it's crazy because I've been having, not to tell y'all TMI, but I tell everyone everything anyway. Yes, digestive issues constantly, all over last year.
So this is one of the things that's really important for Virgos to really take care of, right? And whether that's looking at, is my digestive issues caused by food sensitivities? Should I look at that? But also to see how can I also tamp down that sense of worry and anxiety and realize that there is actually no such thing as perfection, right? But that refinement is the process.
It's hard. And I'm sure though, just many people had stomach issues last year just because of 2020, but yes. Okay, let's talk about an astrological event that seems to have come into awareness in society on a greater level. Mercury in retrograde. Now, my mom was a student of astrology, and I would ban her from telling me when Mercury was in retrograde. I said, I don't want to hear it, self-fulfilling prophecy, but there really is something to it, isn't there?
There really is something to it. So Mercury is retrograde about 3 times a year. And what it means is it's a time when it appears that the planet Mercury is going backwards in the sky. Now, of course, it's not going backwards, but from our perception, it seems to be. And oftentimes people get really nervous when Mercury is retrograde because they think, oh no, there's going to be communication breakdowns or my technological communication devices will break, right? So there's a real fear around it. But I think Mercury retrograde is an incredible time for progress if we follow what we should be doing, which is as the planet is retracing its steps, so should we. Take that time to go back over your messages. Take that time to revisit a conversation, and not about pushing your communication forward, but applying to rewrite, reassess, reanalyze, revisit. And then this is where you're going with the flow of Mercury retrograde, and it can allow it to lead to progress.
Just being extra careful. There's nothing wrong with that. Finally, in your book, you talk about stellar life stages. What is a stellar life stage and how do we know when we're in one?
Yes, so stellar life stages are like developmental stages, right? That we each go through at the same points in time. So for example, people who are turning 30 may have heard of something called the Saturn return. It's something that we all go through from 29 to 30 when we take more responsibility for our life, when we see actually who's been, chartering this ship of my life. Is it me or have I been living according to other people's wishes and wills? Or people are turning 40 in the midlife transition or crisis, we each go through what's called the Uranus opposition and the Neptune square. And knowing that allows you to have a objective understanding of what is this time of my life about? And how can I then not move into the stress, but take better care of myself in terms of what that planetary alignment is inviting me to do.
All good things. And Stephanie just wanted to remind you to shop local if you can. Her book is available at the Elliott Bay Book Company, along with many others. Look around.